Fascism has arrived in America. The military has been deployed on our own streets. Innocent people are being ripped out of their homes en masse. Political opposition is being silenced. The nationalistic fervor, the calls to expel the undesirables, the collapse of our institutions, there is no mistaking it. This is full-blown fascism. The Trump regime has laid most of its cards on the table. So, in the face of these terrifying circumstances, how do we rise to meet the occasion? How do we protect ourselves, our loved ones, our communities, our freedoms, and just about everything that we hold dear? We organize. We organize now. We organize quickly. Now, to some of you veterans on the left, this is the obvious answer. But the thing is, the American left has a massive organizing problem. DSA, the largest socialist organization in the United States of America, only has about 92,000 members. Now, obviously, DSA isn't the only organization of socialists out there. You have different parties, mutual aid networks and affinity groups even, right? But my point still stands. We need to get a lot more people out there and into action. Hello, everyone. My name is Francis, and welcome to the Antifascist Atlas. So, do you want to take the fight to the fascists? Want to defend our homes and communities from oppression and from violence? Do you want to live in a world where we own the wealth we create and where every single human being is treated with the dignity and basic respect that they deserve? Then you should organize today. What does it mean to organize? Essentially, organizing in the political sense is cooperating with like-minded individuals and groups in your community in order to achieve political objectives. These objectives can be a lot of different things, like making your community more self-reliant, shutting down fascist activity, organizing large demonstrations, or just keeping people safe. There are so many different forms and shapes it can take, but the core principle of it all is that there is strength in numbers. It's like the fucking 100 men versus the gorilla thing, right? If each of the men they just stand in line, right, and they take on the gorilla one by one, they're gonna get their asses handed to them. But if they're organized and coordinated and act as a group, then, maybe they stand a fighting chance. But if you've never organized before, how exactly are you supposed to get your foot in the door? How do you get started? Well, I've got a few ideas for you. Number 1, joining DSA. Yeah. I hear a couple of fucking boos back there. Alright, look, the DSA definitely isn't perfect, but if it's one thing, it's a pretty damn good place to start. The Democratic Socialists of America, as we talked about, is the largest socialist organization in the US. They've got chapters in all 50 states. The DSA is kind of like the big entry point for new leftists. There are 3 big things that the DSA's got going for it, in my opinion, if you're a newcomer. The first major upside to DSA is its accessibility. They've got chapters in every state, meaning there's a good amount of you guys who can actually get really engaged with them. The second upside to DSA is that you can be as involved or uninvolved as you'd like. A lot of DSA chapters have a wide variety of different actions you can attend, such as working with Food Not Bombs, protests, book clubs, plenty of different stuff. There are typically chapter meetings every month, but you can really be as engaged or unengaged as you like. That is a stark contrast to some of the more militant and disciplined organizations like PSL. The final upside to using DSA as a way to get your foot in the door is that it's not just for democratic socialists. You've got a wide variety of caucuses and groups to choose from. You've got the more tame social democrats, the Trotskyists, the Marxist-Leninists, the Maoists, or you could join the anarchists if you're cool like that. Because of the group's diversity, it's a great way to just network and even explore different leftist ideologies if you're new. So how do you join DSA? Well, you can join by going to dsausa.org. There you can find your local chapter, get more information, and join DSA. You can join for as little as $5 a month, and you can even have that fee waived if necessary. After signing up, they'll help you get started from there. And if you aren't sure about signing up, you can always check out a meeting at your local chapter for yourself without being a member. You just won't be able to vote on things like a member would, right? DSA isn't the only way you can get your foot in the door. You can also, number 2, attend a protest. I have to say as a disclaimer, it's not recommended that you go to a protest by yourself. You should always have a protest buddy there with you so you have at least one person looking out for you, right? Different actions in the community will be supported by a wide variety of organizations, leftist unity. For instance, I met a organizer from PSL, at the same court watch that I attended with a local abolitionist group. You can chat with some of these representatives before or after an action, potentially during it, depending on what exactly you're doing. This is the way I personally started making connections with leftist groups in the community. Obviously, this is going to depend a lot on the nature of the protest or action, and depending on the protest, you might have police aggression to contend with, and that can make, things like networking a little bit difficult. So you should try and choose an event carefully and use your discretion. Obviously, make sure you're following all the protest safety guidelines. I'll link a guide from the ACLU in the description for you, and you should be able to start making connections from there. The third way I'd say you can get your start in organizing is via participating in a mutual aid project. This is pretty similar to the method we just talked about. You make connections, find groups to organize with while helping or participating in a mutual aid project, though. By doing this, you're basically already jumping right into the thick of it and helping your community become more resilient. However you decide to organize, though, I cannot stress the importance of mutual aid projects enough. Please work on mutual aid. Mutual aid, my beloved. These are going to become an absolute backbone of how we stand up to fascism and protect our communities, especially as our institutions are getting hollowed out for scrap. Food Not Bombs, for instance, perfect example. You're helping provide meals for people, you're helping prepare meals for people, not as an act of charity, but as an act of solidarity. If you participate in a really free market, if you participate in setting up or maintaining a community garden, that's all mutual aid. While you help work on these mutual aid projects, there's a good chance of you making more connections on the left, and that can help you get involved. However you do decide to organize, it's so unbelievably important that you do. That's how we make sure we get our needs met. That's how we stand up for ourselves, and that's how we change the world. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. But more importantly, please, pretty please, with the cherry on top, please consider organizing. I know it feels like a big step to take, but it's not as hard as it seems. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.